friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley, and do you love Envy? This character is from the new movie Inside Out 2, and isn't she so stinking darling? She is roughly 24 inches wide, and I cut her out all using a basic Cricut Explorer Air 2. Now, two things that I would like to note here. First is if you wanted to learn how to create your own Envy SVG file, you're going to want to check out my video where I show you how to do this free with inside a free program called Inkscape. And secondly, today, what I'm going to show you is how we are going to create an off-the-mat project. That is right. This thing right here is so large, I had to split it up and do a little bit of gluing and stuff like that. But didn't this right here turn out so stinking cute? You can't see any seams or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to master the technique. You can do this with Envy. You can do this with any character. Any cutout that you want to create, you're going to be able to figure out how to create an off-the-mat project. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, y'all, are you ready to get started? I'm so excited to show you how we create the magic square so we ensure that all of our seams look perfect every single time on all of our off-the-mat projects. Let's go to Cricut Design Space. To do is head over to my previous video where I showed you how to create this layered SVG file of Envy from the Inside Out movie. Now, if you don't want to create the same exact large off-the-mat cutout as me, you don't have to do this. You can, following the same steps, you can do this with any type of cutout that you are wanting to do an off-the-mat project for. So the very first thing you want to do is resize any of your SVG files to the size that you want. I personally am going to be doing a 22-inch wide Envy cutout. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to right click and I'm going to press ungroup because I want to ungroup all of my layers right here. Now you will notice that over here on my layers box, you will see that I have two cutouts that have an exclamation mark. These two layers are going to be what is a off the mat project. Everything else, because there's no exclamation mark, I'm not going to have to do any customizations to, which is wonderful. So the very first thing I want to do is come over here into shapes and I want to insert a square. Now I'm going to change the square over to 11.5 inches. Now technically my cardstock is 12 inches by 12 inches. However, when it comes to the Cricut, you can only cut up to 11.5 inches. So that's why you're going to want to create a box that's 11.5 inches. Then what I'm going to do is selecting this box, I am going to Command D, which is duplicate, and I'm going to duplicate this 4 times. This is going to create your magic square. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all 4 of these boxes. We can just drag them over here to the right. And I am going to align this to the center. Okay, now let's change this over from operation, from basic cut over to guide, just so we can see what we're doing. And what I want to do now is I'm going to select 2 squares over here. And I am going to go over here to the very left and I am going to drag it over to the right. And I want to make this 11.5 inches. So you can see at the very top, my number is negative 11.42. I want to keep going until my number says 11.5. Now what I'm going to do is selecting one of my boxes that are over here on the right, shift on my keyboard. I'm also going to select another box because there's still 2 that are over here. So I'm going to select 2 boxes and I'm going to come up here to the top and I'm going to drag this down until it says negative 11.5. Now clicking out of it, this right here is your magic box. This is what you're going to be able to use to create your large off the mat project. This is 4 different 12-inch mats right here. So now technically what you can do is just delete your cutout and actually save this magic box right here because you can reuse this box every single time. You definitely don't have to recreate this every single time. Once you're done doing that, what you need to do is count how many off the mats layers that you're going to need. For me, remember, I have 2. I have this exclamation mark right here and then another one right here. So what I'm going to do is selecting my magic box, I'm going to Command D, which is duplicate, and I'm going to drag this down here because this right here is I'm going to need for my other layer. Okay, now what you want to do is selecting your magic box, the very first one. We are going to drag this over to our cutout. Okay, this is really important when you are doing your off the mat projects. Because this is going to be the very back layer, you won't necessarily see it too bad because we're going to hide it with different layers. But what you want to make sure is that you don't leave your lines that are going to be terribly visible when you're done cutting this out. So you can see that if I were to leave the box like this, that I will have a cutout that's right here on my back black layer. If I were to leave it like that, when I assemble this, you're probably going to end up seeing this seam that's right here, which it will be semi-hidden, but you're still going to be able to see it because there's no cardstock over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to the left just a little bit. And by doing that, what I ended up doing is I hid most of that line behind this white piece of paper. A lot of these lines are going to be hidden behind paper, which is exactly what I want. Now, doing the same thing with the vertical lines. So you want to make sure that we're doing everything vertical and horizontal. We want to make sure that everything is going to look amazing. You definitely don't want any harsh lines. If you look over here in the corner, in this very corner, you see my mouth. The corner is going to be hidden by my mouth right there. This is perfect. I actually love the position of my magic square. So now what I'm going to do is click out of that. What I need to do now is come down here, scroll down on my layers box, and we are working on the black. So I'm going to click on the black. I'm going to press shift on my keyboard and then also one magic square, the top left. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is come down here and press slice. All right. Now we're going to scroll up and we are going to take this slice box and we are going to delete it. We're also going to take this slice guide and we are going to delete it as well. I'm going to leave this alone. Now what I'm going to do is selecting this piece right here. I'm going to press shift on my keyboard and then I'm also going to select this next box right here. So this right top box and also the black silhouette. And I'm going to come down here and press slice. Now what I'm going to do is delete this guide. I don't need it. And this right here, I don't need it. Okay, now what we need to do is selecting this piece right here. Now, although there is no exclamation mark, the final cutout is 13.42 inches long, which I don't have 13-inch black cardstock in my cardstock warehouse. So I'm going to have to keep moving forward until I get a cutout that is under 12 inches. So selecting this piece right here, I'm also going to press shift on my keyboard and my bottom right guide, and I'm going to press slice. We are going to delete this right here. We don't need it. And also this right here because we don't need it. Now, technically what we have is one piece right here that is less than 12 inches. This one right here, that's also less than 12 inches. We have another piece less than 12 and this one right here that also is less than 12. So when we have our back black layer, all the pieces under 12 inches, then what you can do is just take your final guide and delete it because we don't need it. Okay, now what we want to do is take all of our black pieces and we are going to arrange this to the back. Now what we need to do is work on our next off the mat layer, which is going to be the hair and the feet. And actually what I want to do is I actually want her feet to be a plain cardstock and her hair and her eyebrows to be a glitter cardstock. So what I'm going to do is isolate these two layers right here. So all I'm going to do is I am going to insert a shape and we're going to do a square again. Now the reason I am doing this is because if we were to click on this, this is going to be one solid piece right here, right? Now there's going to be multiple ways that you can isolate colors. I'm going to show you the easiest way, and that is just by taking this box. We are going to only put this box on the shoes, the shoe color. It's okay if it's covering other things. We're really only worried about the color, the same color as the hair, the blue in those shoes. We just want that box to cover all of the shoes. When we're done doing that, we just want to press shift on our keyboard, also go down and select her hair, and we are going to press slice. Okay, we are going to take this rectangle, we can delete that now, and this right here we can delete because we don't need it anymore. Now this right here is separated to the hair. I love it, perfect. And actually, one more thing that I did notice is in Envy's eyebrows, her eyebrows and mouth is the same color, and I want her eyebrows to also be glitter cardstock. I want her mouth to match the same plain cardstock. So what I'm going to do is the same concept, only this time I'm just going to insert a shape, and I'm going to do a circle. You could do a square if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do a circle. Doesn't matter what shape you do, as long as it covers what you're trying to slice out. So I want to slice out her mouth. I'm going to cover her mouth all together. Press shift on my keyboard and also her eyebrows. And I'm going to press slice. Doing the same thing, we're going to delete the gray pieces because we don't need it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take her boots and her mouth, and I'm going to change it over into just a lighter color. And I'm going to change her eyebrows and her hair into the same dark teal color. Perfect. I love it. Okay, so now technically when we removed her boots from her hair, you're going to see that the red exclamation mark went away. However, if we click on her hair, you're going to see that the final cutout is almost 22 inches wide. I don't have 22-inch wide cardstock. So doing the same concept, we are going to take this magic box and we are going to drag it up into our cutout. And we're going to zoom in. Okay, now what we need to do is place our lines. So this right here, this line, and also this line, we want to make sure that we are not putting it in a spot that is going to make it end up look ugly. So I am just going to go like this. Kind of with hair, you kind of want to just do it like where the natural part's going to be. The natural part in this one right here is going to be right here. But when I do that, you can see that I have an additional cutout that's going to need to be right here. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my box just a little bit. And let's move this over here. We are going to put in our natural line. Okay, when I did that, you're going to see that my line, you're only focused on the line. The line is going to go in the natural part right here. And the hair, I'm only going to need two pieces, the left piece and the right piece right here. I love that this line now follows like the natural hairline that is in Envy's hair, just so it will end up looking normal. You definitely want to make sure that your lines follow a natural curve line. Okay, when you're done, all you want to do is zoom out, and we can delete these two pieces, right? These two magic square boxes because we don't need it. And we are only going to work with the top two. Selecting one of your boxes, we are going to press shift on our keyboard, and we are also going to find her hair, and we are just going to press slice. We are going to delete the guides, the slice result guides, because we don't need it. And now we've created two pieces, this piece right here and this piece right here. So now since we are done, what you can do is just take this magic box and delete it because we don't need it. Let's line this back up. Okay, so now technically what the Cricut is telling me is that this cutout right here is actually 12.34 inches, and that's actually untrue because it fit inside of our magic box, right? But for some reason the Cricut is thinking it's way larger than what it is. So what I'm going to do is drag this over here, and you will notice that I actually have potentially 3 separate cutouts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this right here, and I'm going to Command D, which is duplicate, and I'm going to drag this over here. On this original one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press contour, and I'm going to click this top piece and just get rid of it and click out. So now this piece right here says it's 7.2 inches. Perfect. It's less than 11 and a half. I'm going to drag this over here. Now going over here into this duplicated one, I'm going to press contour, and I need this piece, right? So I'm going to select everything but that piece that I need and click out of it. And this right here is now 5 inches, and I'm going to drag this over here. Okay, so now what we need to do is one final thing, because if we were to go and press make, it is going to say that we need a 24-inch mat, which is actually really untrue. So let's go over and find the layer that is larger than 11.5 inches. So everything is looking good until we reach this one right here. Let's drag this over. So this one right here technically is 14 inches, but do we need a 14-inch mat? No, we absolutely don't. Now, the easiest and quickest way to do this is just isolating the shapes like what we did with the mouth and the boots. So we're just going to insert a shape, and let's just do a circle. And I am going to just take this circle, I'm going to hover over the lapel in her shirt, and then Command D, which is duplicate, and I am going to cover her legs like this, and then duplicate again, and I'm going to do one barrette. Okay, now that I have everyone but one barrette covered, I'm just going to take one circle, click on the original clip art, and press slice. Because now I can delete the gray stuff, and I have an isolated pink, purple, I can just drag this over. Selecting the original clip art, I'm going to select another circle and press slice. And I'm going to be able to move this leg over here. Now it's isolated. I can delete the rest of these. I don't need them. Doing the same thing that we've done before, taking the original clip art and that circle and press slice. And we are going to drag what we need and delete what we don't. And the last one. So selecting the original clip art and the circle, pressing slice, and now our lapel is separated. And our last barrette is also separated, and we can select our gray pieces and just delete. Now what you want to do is just verify that all the rest of the pieces that are going to be in your cutout, all are going to be smaller than 11.5 inches, which they are, which is great. Okay, now that we're done doing that, all you need to do is press make. And now the Cricut is saying, it's okay, we can cut this out in 12-inch mats. So depending on the size that you created, you are going to have 13 mats. That's what I'm going to have, is 13 mats. All right, now let's go and pull our cardstock and cut this out on the Cricuts, and I'm going to show you how we're going to assemble this. So the reason why I like to pull all of my cardstock before I cut is because that gives you a really good opportunity to pull from your scrap pile, because some of these pieces I actually don't need a whole lot of cardstock. So like for the white, I really only need like a 5-inch piece. So I pulled from my scrap pile. Now what you want to do is open up your Cricut, and I always work with 2 Cricut mats. I'm going to insert my very first color. For me, that is going to be white plain cardstock. And then I'm going to insert that into my Cricut. For mat 2, it is going to be the yellow plain cardstock. So I'm going to put the yellow plain on mat 2. Now going over to my computer, I'm going to press continue on my computer and let my Cricut load into my computer. Then what I'm going to do is change my cut settings over. So for my plain cardstock, I am going to choose the cardstock 80 pound mode, and then press the fast cut mode on my computer because I don't like a slow cutting machine, and then just press the blinking C button. Okay, then we're going to switch out our mats, and then you just want to cut out all of your cardstock that you're going to need for your cutout. Okay, when you are done cutting on your Cricut, then all you need to do is pack up your Cricut because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so the very first thing we want to do is work on the very back layer, which for me is going to be the black one. So I'm going to move everything off to the side, and we are going to assemble the back layer. Okay, we want to line these up. Okay, now that I have these lined up, what I want to do is I want to flip them and do this on reverse because I want the tape to be on the back side. So I'm going to flip these over and put the tape on the back side. We are going to be using clear tape or Scotch tape. And what you want to do is make these nice and tight. So we're going to just lift up the left side, line up the edges, pushing down, making this nice and tight. Then what you want to do is taking a little bit of your tape, and we want to tape the back side together. Okay, when you have it nice and tight, then you can just let go, and you want to just take down the seam of your cutout. Okay, Then doing the same thing, we want to make sure that everything is nice and tight when we line this up. And then we're going to lay down our tape. Now you want to make sure that your tape does not go over the edge because you don't want to see it on the front side. Okay, now working on the next one. We're just going to move this, push this just like we did for all the rest of them, making it nice and tight on both sides. Okay, now that you have it all taped down, you can flip this over and you are going to be able to see these black lines. The reason why I don't put tape on the front of this is because you don't want to be able to see the tape on the front of your cutout. But these black lines, because we've maneuvered them and put them in a spot that they're going to be hidden, you're not going to see it in the end result. So that was the very important part of making sure that we put our lines where they are mostly hidden on our finished product. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take more of these bigger pieces and I'm going to lay them out onto my cutout. So she is quickly taking shape and I absolutely am in love with her. So you can see that when I started placing on my pieces of larger cardstock, that you are hiding the seams to your very back piece. So like I positioned the mouth to where the corner is going to be behind the mouth, so you're not going to see that corner. And then when I start adding in the eye, you're not going to be able to see it. So I definitely did a very good job of hiding the seams in the larger back piece. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take my cardstock glue. This is going to be my Precision Craft cardstock glue. And I want to start gluing down my project. I'm going to start at the very top because these two pieces technically are going to be attached together. So I'm going to take my very first piece and I'm just going to put some cardstock glue down and I'm going to put this onto my back black piece. Now what I'm going to do is taking my left piece, because this is going to be my connecting piece to the right, and I'm going to add more glue onto this back piece right here. Now what I'm going to do is doing the same thing that I did before with the plain cardstock when we joined the joints together, is I'm going to push this tight and let this dry. Okay, now what I'm going to do is taking my eyebrows. That's going to be my next one that I think I'm going to do. We're just going to lay these eyebrows in, gluing the pieces together, and we're just going to lay this in. Same thing with this side. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to glue down the face. So I'm going to just put some glue down the entire thing on the back side of my face. Then we're going to lay this into our cutout. Okay, now I'm going to glue down the hair. I haven't done the watermelon pink plain cardstock yet. I'm just going to do the focus on the hair. Okay, I'm going to work on her eyes. I really want her eyes to start taking shape here. Oh my gosh, she's going to turn out so cute. You know what I could have done is cut her eyes out in glitter white cardstock. That way it would have been even cuter, because she honestly looks like she should have some sparkle in her eye. Maybe adding glitter cardstock would have been a good option for this one, for the eyeballs. But I absolutely love how she is taking shape and all the character in her eyes. This thing is going to look real life. It's going to look so cute. Oh my god, isn't she turning out so cute? Oh my goodness. Okay, then we're going to put in her mouth. Glue in her mouth. I'm going to make sure and hide that little corner. And I love the fact that we have hidden all of her seams behind the larger layers, so you can't even tell where the seams are. We did a fabulous job creating this. And here is our finished cutout. Didn't she just turn out so stinking cute? Absolutely adorable. And all that line, the black line that we have back here, this ugly black line, you're going to see that now that we've assembled it, we have hidden most of that line, so you can hardly see where that line is at, which is amazing. So that is just a cool, nifty little trick about hiding the ugly. Now, if you wanted this to be a little bit more stable, because it obviously isn't going to want to stand up on its own, what you could do is back this with foam core sheets And all you would want to do is just glue on the back of this, put it on a foam core sheet, and cut the foam core out using a hot X-Acto knife. But just like this would make fabulous wall decor. I am so excited about this finished cutout. Now that I'm finished making Envy, I want to make all the rest of the Inside Out characters because I'm absolutely obsessed. Have you seen the new movie of Inside Out 2? I am waiting until my kids get back from out of town so we can watch it together. I absolutely love the first one. I can't wait to watch the second one with my kids. Now back to crafting. Did you learn a whole lot? Did you love this off the mat project? What do you think? I think I'm addicted to making off the mat projects. Now, it has been such a long time since I made an off the mat project. I don't know why I quit making them, but I am seriously getting back on the train and I want to make more off the mat projects. Outside of the other Inside Out characters, what else should I make? Let me know in the comments of this video, and I sure hope that I inspired you to create, my friends, and I'll see you later.